I was woken up by an 8 in the morning alarm I set on my laptop through a third party website. I got up within a few minutes and had some leftovers from when my dad went to Romig's Tavern yesterday. In this case, basically some French onion soup mixed into some leftover tater tots. That was given to us by a female friend of my dad. I also had with that a regular square cronut my dad got from the Salty Bread Pizza Cafe the other day. And with that, I had what was left of our gallon of whole milk. I'm currently having a plastic glass of tap water. Me and my dad left around 9 in the morning for us to go to our local American Red Cross for our whole blood donation appointments. I recall the whole process took us roughly half an hour to 45 minutes from arrival, going through the pre-donation health screening, the donation itself, and recovering at the canteen area of the donation center. I enjoy the current promotion the American Red Cross is doing with Tetris. I like the little decorations here and there. at the blood donation center. I liked seeing those. And I liked the shirts me and my dad got upon the completion of our whole blood donations. While recovering at the canteen area, I took a Deep Eddies branded bag of zesty jalapeno potato chips. Then some trail mix. And then my dad gave me a tiny cookie with Reese's peanut butter infused into it. I had 2 box juice pouches of tropical fruit punch. And didn't really want anything after that. So for the road, I got a few Default Welch's fruit gummies pouches. As I know my dad likes those. And I got one more tropical fruit punch box juice pouch. I intended to have that, but my dad ended up having it later. Presumably while we were driving somewhere, doing everything we did today from the mid-morning hours to the early evening. And that's perfectly fine. I didn't really need that box pouch of juice. I drank tap water both before and after my whole blood donation today. Which occurred roughly from 9:15 to 9:30 in the morning. Afterwards, I recall me and my dad briefly stopped at his place before we drove to the place of the same female friend that gave us the French onion infused tater tots yesterday. Only this French onion soup didn't really come with the cheese, but that's perfectly fine. As the cheese was eaten, before it was given to us, at the place of the female friend of my dad, we picked up about 4 wooden chairs and a wooden table, of which I helped load those from my dad's car and the female friend's car to the basement of my dad's place, which thankfully was a short and straightforward walk. I just needed to exercise a little caution while helping with a chair, then the table, with me lifting, carrying one end, and then one more chair. I recall there was a relatively brief tour of the place of the female friend. Then we ended up giving her a relatively brief tour of my dad's place. Then the three of us went to Silo Brunch Bar, during which for food I got a menu special, the Silo Brunch Club Sandwich. Though it wasn't what you might think it was based off the name. It was a sort of sandwich in which the bread consisted of basically cronuts, with egg and bacon. For my beverage, I got something fruity, and it came with a big chunk of pineapple. Then we drove back to my dad's place and briefly stopped there while the female friend of my dad drove back to her place. Then we drove over to my dad's parents' place. Which was about a 20-minute drive. I think I recall the drive to the female friend of my dad's place was similar. My dad's mom drove the two of us to a local Savers, where we spent maybe 20 minutes or so looking around. I wasn't really interested in anything, as I didn't really feel like I needed anything. Though I recall Dad and his mom got a small thing of glassware. I recall my dad got a very small clear glass vase, while my dad's mom got a metal cup. Then we drove over to the nursing home where my dad's dad lives. We visited for about half an hour. By that point, it was around 3 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. And then after visiting Dad's dad, Dad's mom drove us back to her place, and we visited for about 20 minutes or so, during which Dad's mom offered us both some homemade lemonade in a plastic pitcher infused with some lime, and we both accepted. We were both also given a vanilla cream oblong cookie with plain cookie pieces. I recall me and my dad got back to my dad's place for the last time today around 5 p.m. or so, and ever since, I had 2 cups of plain coffee and a partial third cup. That was about a third of a cup, roughly from 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m., during which time I was editing the May 30 My Dinner video in Camtasia 2019. I recall doing this from the early evening hours to the early night hours. And it was not too long ago that video, after it finished rendering in Camtasia 2019, after I finished reviewing the raw video clips of that My Dinner video project, I recall I ended up cutting it down to 19 minutes when it used to be something like 21 and a half minutes long. And that video project file uploaded to my YouTube channel not that long ago. It was when it finished uploading. I recall me, my dad, and the female friend of my dad ate at the Silo Brunch Bar roughly from 12:30 p.m. to 1 p.m. And we were fortunate to get there when we did, because while we were there, a pretty significant line to get in developed, as at the time we were there, the eatery was pretty packed. I recall seeing people at just about all of the seating that was offered. Every single table and most of the bar area. The bar area being where we sat at, the 3 of us. Both while visiting my dad's dad and then my dad's mom, me and my dad made some conversation. I saw some friendly residents and staff at the nursing home my dad's dad lives at. During the visit, and at the end of visiting my dad's mom, she gave us some store-bought angel hair cake and some homemade goulash. While carrying the wooden chairs and helping carry the wooden table, I made efforts to be careful due to the earlier blood donation today. And thankfully there were no complications. I feel perfectly fine. And the blood donation itself went perfectly fine too. There's just quite a bit of scar tissue on the arm that was used for my whole blood donation today. The right arm, as historically that one's been used predominantly over the left arm. As historically, whenever the left arm was used, there wouldn't be much success. But thankfully, despite the scar tissue, the whole blood donation went smoothly. Here's where I am currently on Elvenar for the task sets for the current episodic event. I recall I completed this main quest yesterday, but it's only now that I'm remembering to finish this main quest. Here's where I am currently on Oceania.